Hey folks, Maria Noel Groves here. I wanted to tell you today about one of the series that's coming up that will be launching in April and running through November 2024. And that is a seasonal energetics series. And so this is a module that has been excerpted from my advanced series. And it covers some really lovely topics that are basically like module one of the advanced series. Based off of feedback from students, sometimes we do so much in the full advanced series that it gets to be a little bit overwhelming. And so this year we're going to do things a little bit differently, where we're going to take out a specific component of the advanced series to deep dive into, and then we'll cover other components in future years. And so hopefully this will make it a little bit more accessible, more enjoyable, and we'll also be able to integrate some interactivity into the classes, as well as, of course, plenty of the lecture that people tend to like. And this series will be live streaming with everything also recorded. And so you might be wondering, like, what are seasonal energetics? This is such a foundation of herbalism that, while I don't have time to get into it in depth in my first two series, I really do think it's wonderful for all levels of herbalists to delve into, whether you're planning on doing advanced and clinical work, or whether you're just sort of a beginner intermediate and you have a little bit of a foundation of herbs, but you want to kind of understand them a little bit better. So energetics, in the way that we're going to be covering it in this series, is looking at things like the tissue states, like hot, dry, cold, and damp, but we'll also be exploring it through the lens of the seasons, because as we go through the seasons, we see different aspects of these temperature and fluidity states being amplified or diminished, depending upon what's happening in your climate as well as your season. But it can apply to so many things. It can apply to a wet cough versus a dry cough, or a cold constitution, somebody who runs cold versus somebody who runs warm, or where you are in your life phase. As we get older, we tend to start to run colder and drier versus when we're in our younger years. And then the plants themselves, of course, have their own energetics, like ginger being a really warming herb, or marshmallow being a moistening herb. And so energetics are one additional lens to be looking at people and health and vitality and plants. And by integrating this into sort of your worldview around plants, you not only will be able to live a little bit more in balance with the seasons and within your own body, but you'll be better able to formulate more effective formulas based off of the situation, off of the health concern, or the individual, because you're not only looking at like, well, what herbs do we have for X situation, but also what kind of energetics are at play and what herbs will help balance. So if this person is running cold, maybe you want to incorporate some warming herbs into the formula. Or if we're making a formula for a specific benefit, but it turns out that like a lot of these lung herbs, for example, might be kind of drying and warming, that might be okay, but we don't want too much of that action. So maybe let's incorporating a few of those more cool and moistening herbs into the formula. And so, those are just a few basic ways that energetics can come into our herbalism and make us better herbalists, so that we're better able to look at the whole picture, or at least more of the whole picture, and be able to support the body and choose the best plants accordingly. And so as we go through this series, I'll be the primary teacher, but we'll also be bringing in Tisha Love, who will be talking about Ayurveda and the doshas as they apply to all of these concepts, as well as Jiling Lin, who will be talking about the seasons and the rhythms of Chinese 5-element and other sort of Asian inspired energetics theories. And so I've had the luxury of being able to take these classes with them a couple times previously, and they are so fantastic in how they teach this. And so we'll be doing Western, Ayurveda, and some Asian theories all intermixed as we go through the season, starting with springtime in April and ending with winter in late November. And so you'll get to experience the topics as those seasons are happening. And also we're going to tie in plant families. We'll be focusing on individual plants that really amplify the flavors that are associated with these energetics, that are growing in season as we're talking about them, and that also have phytochemistry. So we're going to interweave plant families, phytochemistry, and taste, along with our energetic themes as we go through the year. And then we're going to deep dive into individual plants that really show off those properties of it. And then if you choose to get the remedy kit that goes with the series, we'll all be tasting those herbs and getting to experience those herbs, getting good quality ones from an apothecary that we're working with to provide those. And so we can all be sipping our teas together and experimenting with extracts of different sorts and playing with flower essences or tinctures or all sorts of odds and ends while we're going through the series. So I'm hoping that this will do a really nice job kind of bringing in the different layers of this while also setting a really lovely framework for anybody who's interested in exploring herbal medicine more, but also for those folks who are looking into clinical work. These are really like core energetic theories that can help you become a better herbalist so that you can better identify what's going on with your clients, what patterns are at play, and better choose herbs and a well-rounded formula to support that person and the situation that they're in. But even if you're not looking to do that, you can have that extra lens of skill to go into your own, home herbalism as well. So this series will be launching in early April, and you can check out more information on my website, wintergreenbotanicals.com. I do have a free blog post on my website with just some basic what are energetics and giving you a little bit of a teaser of the first intro class on Western energetic herbalism that we'll be doing in our first class. You can get a little bit of that through that free blog post if you want to get a taste of things. And we do accept payment plans for anybody who requests them, customized to the payment plan that works for you. And we do have some scholarship spots as well. So wintergreenbotanicals.com, you can then go to the classes page, or you can go to classes / seasonal -energetics, but you can easily navigate right from the homepage. So perhaps I will see you there, and happy herbal adventures.